Story 1. The Wedding Industrial Complex. Our wedding included only our immediate family at the courthouse. Afterwards, we enjoyed a delicious dinner at a place with a great view. It was simple, quick, and wonderful. Story 2. Having a mother who loves you and wants the best for you is invaluable. I often see quotes about how the love of a mother is unique, and I have always wondered what that would feel like. Story 3. The desire to dance when hearing music is a common experience. My friends often say they cannot help but move when their favorite song plays, but I do not understand that impulse at all. I can appreciate music, but my body remains firmly in place. Story 4. The high school rites of passage. I never attended proms, Friday night football games, or senior skip day. Story 5. That sense of belonging and family. I've always felt like I am an afterthought. No one really wants to be around me. Nowhere feels like home. Nobody makes me feel safe. Nothing feels relieving. It doesn't quite feel like depression. It's more like everyone is humming this song, and I know the words too, but I just can't get the tune right. Story 6. Tribalism and team dynamics are everywhere. I watch it happen all the time, from broad strokes like sports to small things in life. The whole notion of, I'm on a team and my team is better than your team. It has never resonated with me. Workplace team building or team exercises baffle me. I am not a competitive person. I care about my performance, but not whether I am doing better or worse than someone else. I do not care if my team is doing well. Even if someone says, "Oh, but this other team is beating you. So what? We are both doing a good job." That is what matters. It is particularly evident in sports for me. I do not understand sports. I never have and never will. I understand enjoying the game itself and physically playing it. I somewhat understand watching others play, though that seems boring to me. What bewilders me completely are the people who identify with a team and create rivalries as if they are part of it. They do not play on that team. They have probably never met the team. Many times, they have never even visited the team city, let alone lived there. I knew someone who lived in Ohio and made the Green Bay Packers his identity for most of his life. He had never set foot in Wisconsin until he made a trip there once. Why? I can appreciate supporting your hometown's team. They represent your city. However, when two people in the Midwest get into a fight because the New York team lost to the Los Angeles team and think they are somehow superior for supporting their team, it makes no sense to me at all. Or in my city, where there are two colleges that are not even in our city, there is a fierce rivalry despite the fact that most of their fans did not attend those colleges. Why? Story 7. I am a cisgender heterosexual woman who doesn't attract the attention of men. I have been invisible all my life. When I am out with other women, I am the wallflower. Story 8. Making friends and teenage romance. Growing up with a profound disability, I didn't receive a single invitation to a birthday party, and nobody came to mine. I was often ignored by my classmates and experienced bullying. I can never relate to what it's like to have a group chat, a best friend, a first kiss, or anything that typical kids and teenagers experience while growing up. Story 9. Enjoying or wanting to dance can be challenging. It may not seem fun, and it might feel silly or goofy. What do you mean by moving how my body naturally feels to the music? I don't have a natural urge to dance other than occasionally bobbing my head to the beat. It would be rather strange if I walked onto the dance floor and started bobbing my head like a fool. Story 10. Waking up refreshed is something I didn't realize people experienced until I was 40. It has never happened for me. Story 11. Loving your family. I don't have that inherent attachment to family that everyone else has. They are just people I've known for a long time. I don't see most of them for years on end, and I don't miss them. Story 12. Enjoying life. I have never experienced a moment where I felt life was okay. Nothing has ever distracted me from the idea that I was brought here against my will. Life is so limiting, considering we have such broad imaginations. Story 13. Everyone talks about how magical their first kiss was, but mine was just awkward and tasted like old pizza. My date had just devoured an entire pepperoni pizza before picking me up. Story 14. I have seen many references to the feeling of being watched. I have no idea what they are talking about. Story 15. Screaming on roller coasters. I do not know why I have to do it manually because my body just does not feel the need to yell on them. Story 16. The joy and comfort of falling asleep next to someone you love. I can't fall asleep if there is anyone else in the bed, unless medication or alcohol is involved, and even then, I won't stay asleep for long. This does not go over well in relationships. Story 17. Traveling is an opportunity to explore the nature around me, but I have no desire to travel the world, especially when I can see everything on the internet. For me, it's not about being in different places. It's the physical act of getting there: planes, trains, cars, and buses. Story 18. The normal school experience. I was homeschooled until college. Socialization in bars and clubs is probably for the same reason. Additionally, I am introverted and dislike loud crowds. A typical work schedule from 9 to 5 or any consistent job is challenging. I have been in the military since college, and my military occupational specialty does not follow a routine pattern. Story 19. Having a fulfilling career can be challenging. I never fit in with anything I tried. It seems overwhelming to work in an adult job. I just want to make enough to pay the bills and have some extra spending money. Story 20. Sexual attraction. The notion that individuals can observe strangers and feel physically aroused is surprising and unfamiliar to me. Story 21. Having complete faith that everything will be okay has many drawbacks, but it honestly feels like a superpower. Story 22. Wanting to attend or gain closure from funerals is strange and unsettling to me. I haven't attended one in 12 years. Story 23. Being creative and wanting to create things or having hobbies can be fulfilling. My interests include reading, exercising, attending concerts, traveling, and dining out. I have never felt inclined to craft. I do not consider myself to be creatively inclined. Story 24. Remembering the death and birthday of those who have passed. 1. Why would I want to relive one of the most emotionally traumatic days of my life? They are gone. They no longer have birthdays. Story 25. Being a grandparent has been a unique experience for me. I had 2 children, but unfortunately, one passed away before having any children. My surviving daughter is married, but she has decided not to have kids. Story 26. Getting emotional over music has never happened to me. The closest I ever got was a music video with extremely sad content that made me feel very sad. But regular music has never affected me in that way. Story 27. I want to earn as much money as I can. I dislike money, but I appreciate groceries, having a roof over my head, attending concerts, and enjoying a few drinks occasionally. My wife doesn't understand why I wouldn't want to reach my full earning potential, but she has always lived in a world where everyone close to her is at least upper middle class and has never had to worry about their next meal. I am the only one of my friends from 30 years of friendship who is married, has a mortgage, and a steady job that pays enough, without constantly considering the most convenient time to end it all. These guys are smarter and more likable than me, but their circumstances have hindered them in ways my wife and her social circle have never experienced. I know that if I immerse myself too deeply in that world, it would create further distance between me and these friends than I would like. I care for them and want to see them achieve more than just getting by. Story 28. Popping off. When you overcome something frustrating. I just don't. If I'm frustrated, I'm not having fun. Period. If I push through something that's making me frustrated, I get a headache. And if I finally finish it, I'm not thinking, yes, I did it. Yeah, let's go. Ego, ugh. Finally, and leave. It's like spending 2 hours waiting for your number to be called at the Department of Motor Vehicles. I'm not even relieved. I'm still annoyed. It just means I can do something else that might be more fun or more entertaining. I can still be happy if I overcome something, but I'm happier if I wasn't already annoyed or frustrated when I did it. I need to be engaged, but I still need to believe what I'm doing is fun. There's no way a game like Getting Over It would be even remotely enjoyable for me. Story 29. Loneliness. I have never experienced it. I don't think it's an emotion I feel at all. I am extremely introverted. Being around people is very exhausting for me, so I always wish for alone time to rest and recover. Story 30. I have never been catcalled. While other women report that it is something they experience constantly when they go out in public. When men yell at me on the street, they call me derogatory names instead of complimenting me. The first time it happened was when I was a teenager. Some guys yelled at my friends about how attractive they were, then turned to me and said, "How come attractive guys always have one less attractive friend?" Story 31. I want to be married. It's strange because I understand why it appeals to others, but it has never attracted me in any way. Story 32. Being in a romantic or sexual relationship seems way too stressful. Additionally, if I need support, I can get that from friends and family. Story 33. Feeling dizzy from getting up too quickly from a chair. I occasionally come across a meme about it. Every time, I attempt to stand up as fast as possible, but it never works. Story 34. The standard American life. Growing up with two loving parents, attending college after high school, getting married, having children, and settling down. I live a life of disappointment. I grew up in a broken home, had to drop out of community college, was betrayed by most of my friends, and faced rejection from both women and employers. My life is a disaster, and the American dream means nothing to me, despite being the only person in my predominantly white suburban neighborhood who has never experienced it. Story 35. I have always liked psychotropic drugs. Therefore, I would recommend staying sober. I truly miss those experiences. Life feels challenging in a normal state. Story 36. Wallowing in a breakup can be difficult. There are many people in the world, so don't get hung up on someone who doesn't want to be with you. Story 37. Missing human connection. I meet with people because it's healthy, not because I want to. It's like going for a mental health walk, a scheduled task that you do because you know it's supposed to be good for you. Just enough to avoid becoming a reclusive individual due to mental health deterioration. This is often mistaken for shyness or laziness, but it is neither. Not for my family, not for my colleagues, and not for my friends or anyone else. I still like my friends. I just have never felt the need to go out of my way to meet with them. Story 38. Going on a long trip for vacation to relax is often exhausting. Flights can wear me out, and the relaxation I gain does not seem worth the stress of flying. When I travel, I want to immerse myself in the city, culture, and environment. There is so much to see. Why spend time at a pool that looks like one I can visit anytime? Story 39. That young, innocent love, someone who unconditionally likes you and wants to be around you constantly. Now, in my mid-30s, knowing that kind of thing passed me by long ago sometimes leaves me feeling sad when I think about it. Story 40. I don't like music. To me, it's the same noise as when the vacuum cleaner is on. I just want to turn it off. Story 41. Not a universal experience, but I feel completely alienated when people talk about COVID-19. For everyone else, it was the most important event in their life at the time. Meanwhile, in 2020, I had to move 3 times, including to a different country, changing my entire social circle and life pace with each move. My status as an essential worker stripped me of my time to stay in like everyone else. I still had to deal with COVID-19, but it took a back seat to everything else happening at the time. Story 42. Projecting myself into a fictional character is something I cannot do. I will never look at a video game or movie character and see myself in them. The concept feels strange and childish to me. People often say they cannot relate to the main character in a story, and I do not understand what they mean. There are characters I like or dislike for various reasons, but that is not the same. Story 43. Storing sewing supplies in a Danish cookie box. I don't sew, so I store my assorted screws and nails in one. Story 44. Being mentally ill or addressing mental health. I claim to be an alien and that this experience is extraterrestrial in nature. I was reflecting and felt I understood my purpose as a child. All along I knew, and then I forgot. Don't tell anyone, but I'm an alien. A quote from a child of the 2000s. Story 45. Having a dream job. I do not dream of labor, not for someone else at least. The closest I have to a dream job is being a stay-at-home mom and tending to a small farm. Story 46. I have never celebrated my birthday or anyone else's. I have never attended a birthday party, given a birthday gift, or received one. I have never sung or been sung happy birthday. Actually, I was sung happy birthday once at age 11 when a teacher made the class do it, and I was too shy to ask them to stop. It was incredibly uncomfortable. Story 47, most of them. I'm not trying to be cool or edgy. I simply don't understand many things that people do. I don't like sports or going to clubs and bars. I had a nice, small wedding, but I didn't care about fancy venues and such. I enjoy talking to all kinds of people, and I think it's great that individuals have different tastes, but for me, I just can't connect with many common interests. Story 48. Being drunk, using drugs, nightlife, and clubbing. I haven't attended university not due to a lack of desire, but because I feel inadequate. Story 49. The desire to smoke or vape holds a certain appeal. Perhaps it stems from growing up around lifelong smokers who constantly coughed and suffered from chronic obstructive pulmonary disease and lung cancer. Yet, whenever I see an attractive person pull out a cigarette or vape, they seem to lose 50% of their attractiveness in my eyes. Story 50. Wanting to kiss someone. I have kissed a couple of times before, and it does nothing for me. It doesn't feel good or whatever it is supposed to do for you. It is just awkward and uncomfortable to me. Story 51. Head over heels in love. There was definitely attraction, but not the heart-pounding, head in the clouds, rosy perspective. My first husband and I met in college, and our relationship developed within the same friend group. My second and current husband and I were both in the United States Air Force, and I met him when I was stationed at his base. He participated in a gaming group that met every weekend at the base recreation center, and I joined shortly after arriving. We transitioned from friends to roommates to friends with benefits during the 3 years I was there, and neither of us realized we had fallen in love until I was stationed in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean for 15 months. We spoke on the phone at least a couple of times each week, and he eventually sent me a letter sharing news about his new car. The last line read, "Oh, by the way, I love you and will you marry me?" I returned to the States the following day, and we had a meaningful conversation before I said yes. Story 52. Partying, clubbing, and getting intoxicated do not appeal to me at all. I have never had any desire to get drunk or use drugs while being surrounded by sweaty, loud strangers. It sounds like an actual nightmare to me. I do not understand how anyone finds that enjoyable. Story 53. Being a woman can be terrifying. We're taught to be afraid, but I disagree. Raised by a widowed mother, I feel empowered to do anything I choose and have never experienced real danger. I'm not scared to walk alone anywhere. I would likely be struck by lightning before any man walking down the same street would harm me. It seems like many women today seek to claim victimhood simply for being female, and if they don't, they're labeled as dishonest or as pick-me types. I reject that notion. Story 54. High school graduations. If it's just waiting for an hour to be handed a piece of paper, then I'll have mine mailed to me. Story 55. Young love and all that relationship stuff. It was not due to a lack of desire or effort, but for one reason or another, it never happened. At this point, I'm okay with it since I'm not going to become bitter because no one decided to settle down. Story 56. Judgment. People who are different, overweight, disabled, autistic, etc., often mention how much they were bullied and excluded throughout their lives. I have never understood why one would judge someone in that way. I am a huge extrovert and have always been willing to talk to anyone, judging them based on their personality like a reasonable person. I have genuinely never looked at an overweight person and thought anything negative because of their body size. I have also never been put off because of a disability. I do not understand why these attitudes exist and what motivates them. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.